Hey Purple, this is the first bite-sized VoD review for the second submap of Busan, where we ran our dive composition, and we're going to be looking more at how we run this style of comp, this dive. So if we notice here, they're running the exact same composition as they were before. They've got the Moira, Lucio, Winston Diva dive, and they've got the soldier with a Doomfist. And that Doomfist is going to still be their primary initiator. If we can either anticipate this or we can scout it quickly, the Doomfist is visible up here. It's something you should look at as soon as you say, okay, they have a Doomfist. That's going to be one of your keys to lock in on, right? Because how they're running their DPS is going to determine to a degree their playstyle. If they have a tracer, they're going to be more spread out. They're going to be more split. But you can tell right now the Doomfist is on high ground. He's taking that high ground, which taking that high ground with their Winston gives them a really distinct advantage in that they have a superior view of the kind of the battlefield, and they can pick and choose where they think that you're weakest and where they want to jump into. Now the corollary to that is if you take a look and you see, okay, their Winston and their Doomfist are on the high ground, you can tell they're going to use cooldowns to initiate. They're going to punch in, or they're going to seismic slam in, and they're going to Winston jump in and try to cause disruption in your backline. And so when you recognize that, there's a couple counters you can do. You can either say, okay, we're just going to go full send, we're going to go all the way in. That would work a lot better with something like a Moira as a heal if you're going to try to sort of ball up together. Because obviously, you'll see what's going to happen. What's going to happen is eventually the Doomfist like slams in, kills one of our healers, brings the other healer down really low, and just gets a ton of value from there. But let's see what plays out right now. So the Doomfist punches, but he doesn't punch into you guys. He punches above, and you guys execute the dive onto the soldier really well. So excellent job. The soldier's dead in a vacuum, 5v6. Like, hey, pretty winnable, right? But you're gonna see this is the second time that we've been in a 5v6 on this composition, or in a 6v5, and still not pulled it away. And part of the reasoning is the actually, really, all of the reasoning here is the positioning. Even though the soldier's dead, we've got Diva and Tracer going onto low ground. We've got our Ana right in the middle, not in the middle of, but like right in the middle of the battlefield, right next to our tanks. And you've got a Doomfist who's up here. He's waiting to punch in. I don't believe their Winston has bubbled yet. And so what's going to happen is, since we're all kind of in this general area, that one Doomfist punch really does a lot. Our Genji goes low, and from there, Arana's 1 health. Winston dives in, takes her down, and they kind of just get the cleanup. And it's not too hard for them to finish it out and take first cap. We've got Maze, just gets kind of bonked in the head. So what do we do about that? What do we do about that? And when they have that kind of setup, well. First thing is we can do what they did and try to take high ground. At the beginning of the fight, while we're still in the scouting phase, let me get to that real quick. Right, okay. So they've already taken high ground with 2 of their DPS. They have a good line of sight, and they've got a good state. That's a good staging point for them. They can get basically, if you're a Winston, you can jump basically past this central high ground right here and onto the enemy team if you want to. You have a pretty big range, and so does the Doomfist. The Doomfist could punch in, try to like fall and get an uppercut, and then dive and seismic slam out, or seismic slam in, uppercut and punch out. So controlling that high ground, especially in the scouting phase, where you don't need to engage them right away, right? You have 20 seconds. You've got a lot of mobility. You've got a lot of distance that you can cover. Take that high ground. And additionally, what I was saying in the last one of the things that got that kind of hurt us was we had both of our healers right in this central area right here. Instead of making it hard for the Doomfist to get by saying, okay, guys, our healing line of sight is going to be up here because we're going to put our Ana on the high ground, on the slight high ground, make it harder for her. getting the Ana onto, maybe your plan could be getting the Ana onto here and just having a longer line of sight. And if they wanted to approach from this staging high ground, it would still take a lot of effort. The Ana could back up. They would have to expend a lot of resources to get to her. But right now we kind of just like walk into the battlefield, and that's that positioning gives them a distinct advantage in this fight. So, and even in the mid fight, we're gonna let's let it go here a little bit. We execute the first dive, and the Doomfist goes for a second setup thing, even though he really could just like jump and like seismic slam onto our healers almost from there. Having Heesung taking, boosting in and then like going up and taking this high ground, their D.Va is on the low ground too. Their Winston is also on the low ground. One of the ways that you can get a lot of value from D.Va, not only by providing coverage but also providing damage, is just like taking high ground wherever you can. And if you're on the high ground right here, you can shoot into the back of their Winston. You can shoot at their Moira. You can make them like turn their head, and you'd be able to deal with the Doomfist a little bit better. When he jumps in, you can boop him away. So taking that high ground, having good positioning, not only for our healers in a safe place, but also our tanks taking high ground and having a good view of the battlefield, and making the enemy team have to deal with multiple angles of aggression, is one way that we can make our dive a lot more dynamic. All right, that's the end of this bite-sized VoD review. Thank you guys for watching.